excuse me. You want me to sew a wedding dress when I have just 4 months of knowledge? I had not learned how to sew a fitted top, talk less of a wedding dress. Do you know what your Father in heaven told me? He said that you are going to do it. You are going to do that graduation ceremony. You are going to do that wedding, girl.
One, two, three, four.
Hi guys, welcome back to God Moments with Tomi. You are watching episode 2, and this episode is called Grace Changed Everything. Now, if you haven't watched episode 1, I really don't understand why you're here. I'm joking, I'm kidding. Anyhow, but I would really encourage you to watch episode 1 because it gives a lot of context for episode 2, right? This whole season, we're talking about how God led me to move, pivot from engineering to fashion. And this whole season is my experience in fashion school and how God helped me through. Great. That was a recap for people that have not watched episode 1, but I still think you should. Anyhow, on the topic of today, now, I had mentioned before in the last episode that I had gone to fashion school before. I remember saying that I dreaded it. It took a toll on my mind and on my body because I would try to design something or produce something and it felt I would have massive headaches. I could not understand why it was so hard for me. Like, it was very, what's the word? Heartbreaking. It was really heartbreaking that this is something I've always wanted to do, but just turns out I might actually not be great at this. So I had closure in that, okay, maybe this is really not for me, right? So left it, and then God bringing me back to this in to go to another fashion school again. Yeah, I wasn't having it. I'm like, God, we've been here, we've done this, and it didn't work out. Okay, but I don't know more than God. But anyhow, going into fashion school, this time in the will of God, there was a drastic difference. Now, I prayed to God, and I'm not saying, oh, my experience was different because I prayed. I do believe prayer helped me and my heart to go into it with an open mind because I had told God how I felt about it. So I had prayed about it that God, I must not see the Egyptians I saw before. Because it like I was like, God, please, I cannot experience what I experienced before. Doing this because you are telling me to in obedience, it absolutely cannot be what I experienced before. And I am grateful to God that He did change my story. And that's how we get to the part where grace changed everything. So I got into fashion school and it was like a veil was removed from my eyes. It was like light shone on me. And the things that were confusing started to make sense. I was like, this is different. Is this how the will of God is? So it was I could understand things with ease, right? Even doing things like sewing before was such a hassle. I did not know how to do some stuff. But when I started to sew and going through my classes, like teachers would commend my work, like, wow, your work is very neat. I said, as you are seeing it, me too, I'm seeing it, I'm shocked. Two of us are we are surprised. But yeah, grace did change everything. It changed my understanding, and more importantly than my understanding, it changed my heart towards it. Because bear in mind, this is something that I dreaded, and because of the grace of God, it was now something that I enjoyed. Even in following God's will and how my experience before wasn't my experience anymore. One thing I truly believe, sorry about that, there's a different type of hard, right? Don't get me wrong, when you are operating in grace, it doesn't mean it will be easy. Like you will experience ease, but it doesn't mean you wouldn't have to work hard. There's something my pastor said on Sunday. He said that grace is not a license to be lazy. Grace is an empowerment towards excellence, right? And that was my story. Like, the grace empowered me to do great things. Like, it just boosted my skill. It boosted, energized me to work hard. Because you will actually work hard, even though you're in the will of God. It doesn't mean that things will be easy breezy, lemon squeezy. Like, you will work hard, but you will not toil. And that's the difference. That is the difference. I feel like when I went to fashion school before, like, it wasn't necessarily God's timing or God's will at the time for me. I was toiling. And that's why I thought that, nah, this can't be it, right? I just always understood that lack of peace, that toiling, that I know the discomfort of not being in the will of God. That I know that when I'm in the will of God, I find utmost fulfillment. I just know it. Because the peace of being in the will of God is something you cannot even explain. And I chase that peace. I always believe that the will of God is where I would find utmost fulfillment. And that is something that encourages me to follow the will of God, because I'm like, see, I always say this, the will of God is my happy place. I might not enter it into it happy, but I genuinely believe that I will become happy when I follow God. Yeah, I think that's basically what my experience was. Grace did change everything for me. It changed my heart towards the situation. It empowered me to be very excellent. I will say this, I worked very hard, and I really did work hard because I knew that it was unto the Lord, and grace empowered me to work hard. I was barely sleeping, but I know that I was doing something that I felt fulfilled in, right? Like we earlier said. So now, in this spirit of grace and favor that I experienced in fashion school, is escalated to another level of grace and favor. So how the fashion school worked at the time is that the graduation ceremony is every December, right? And I was doing a year's program. How it was created is, I mean, they created it as if you will resume in January. But if you came in the middle of the year, your graduation ceremony will still be in December, but after the graduation, you could still come to school to do the amount of months that is remaining in your 12-month span. So I came in March, but I was doing fashion school alongside NYSC. So it was quite hard to merge both of them, because that meant that I had to miss some days of school because of CDS and clearance and stuff, and that means I had to work twice as hard. I really needed grace in this situation because and also I had to leave for camp in the middle of fashion school, so that was like a month out of my 12-month span, and I wasn't able to freeze my account then, so I lost a month of the 12 months that I did, right? As I mentioned before, you would graduate, like the ceremony is in December, but you can still come back to do the remaining months left off. So because I had lost a chunk of time, when I came back, I did not have enough knowledge to be able to graduate, because in the graduation ceremony, there is a project that every graduation student is to display. You are displaying your design. For me and our set, the project was a wedding dress. Drink water, sip it in, like let it sink in. Wedding dress? And I had lost so much of time, and the way the program is designed, like you will do a lot of basic stuff, especially if you're learning from scratch. Like, excuse me, You want me to sew a wedding dress when I have just 4 months of knowledge? And in those 4 months, we start step by step. You first sew straight lines on paper before you even graduate to fabric. You start learning how to attach a zip, how to sew a skirt, how to draw patterns. Like, how did we jump to wedding dress? Yeah. So that's another area. I had the option of graduating that year, like doing the ceremony in that year, that is December. That means I would still have to sew a wedding dress with whatever knowledge, once of knowledge you have, their requirements. I'll still have to sew a wedding dress. I was supposed to present a business proposal for my fashion brand. There were so many things I had to do, right? That was a requirement to graduate or to even present in that graduation ceremony before I would come back after the ceremony to do my remaining months. I hope you understand what I'm saying. So I had the option to do it in December or come back the next year, December, to present. Yeah, I was not feeling that because how do I know that I would still be in this phase in time? Like, why would I delay myself? So that was something I had to pray to God about. Like, God, am I going to join this graduation ceremony this year, or are we waiting till next year? I had 4 months of knowledge, you guys. If you know what a shaped bodice is, so basically I had not even learned how to sew a fitted top. I had not learned how to sew a fitted top, talk less of a wedding dress. Do you know what your Father in heaven told me? He said that you are going to do it. You are going to do that graduation ceremony. You are going to do that wedding gown. And I'm going to help you. It's like God he enjoys the impossible, because that's where he really shines the most, honestly. So that was another story, and we're going to get into it. We're going to get into it in the next episode. I don't think I've forgotten. Okay, I have not forgotten that in the last episode I said we're going to talk about how my parents adjusted to the idea of me pivoting from engineering to fashion. I've not forgotten. I left it for the last part because, what am I trying to say here? I saved the best for last. Yeah, that's what I was trying to remember. How did my parents take it? Good question. Good question. Before, I'm not a foolish child. Before I presented it to them, I presented it to God. And I'm like, you know the type of parents you gave me? Help me. Please help me. Like, I don't want to be, I can't even afford to be the child that will vex and go and do your will. I need resources for that, right? So I prayed to God about it, that God, please, like, I don't want it to even just be a thing where, oh, they're like, you can do what you want to do. I want them to be happy about this decision, right? And grace did change everything, because it also changed their hearts towards it. So I just pray to God that, God, please, like, just put it in their hearts, like, just make it easy for them to also let go of such an investment that they had put into my life, because I don't take it for granted. I mean, I prayed to God about it, and then I spoke to my sister about it, that how are we gonna tell our mommy and daddy? Just like trust God. He told you to do this. He will touch their hearts, right? So I went to my mommy first, because you know that she can, wives are they can easily touch their husband's heart with how they present some things. So I told my mommy first that, mommy, this is something that I want to go to fashion school during my NYC period, and stuff and stuff and stuff. The type of parents I have, they have questions. They want to make sure you are prepared for what you are telling them about. So I made sure that I had my ducks in a row. Like, I had the information. Anything they wanted to ask me, I had the answers to. So I had done my research, right? So yeah, I had done my research for the school already. So when I presented it to my mom, I was like, okay, this is what it's going to cost. This is where it's located and everything. And she was just like, No problem. Eh? I shocked. I was shocked. Not because my mommy is a kini or anything, but like she accepted it with such ease, and she was even happy about it. So that's something I was very grateful to God about. And when I told my daddy too, my daddy was happy about it. I'm just grateful to God that that's how it ended. Even though there were some subtle conversations here and there that, oh, this thing's on the side of me. Yeah, just doing this thing for fun. I'm grateful to God for my parents. He gave me great parents. And so yeah, that's how it went. I cannot assure you that that's how it will go for you. I cannot assure you that it will be as seamless, but I can assure you that God will help you, and I can assure you that God will touch whoever's heart He needs to touch, and it might be better than my own story. Who knows? But yeah, that is it on today's episode. The next episode, we're going to be talking about how God gave me ideas for this wedding dress and how God helped me for this wedding dress project, because it was a lot. Yeah. So bye guys. See you at the next episode of God Moments with Tomi. If you haven't caught the drift yet, I'm going to be releasing episodes every second Friday, like every 2 weeks, because I'm really trying to be consistent, and with the level of consistency that I can maintain, and that's just the one I can maintain for now. So yes, if you want to know more about me personally, the Tomi in God Moments with Tomi, you can follow me on Instagram. Yeah, basically just on Instagram. And the handle is going to be posted on the screen or in the description box below. So bye guys, thank you for watching.